You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Hope everyone had a fantastic holiday weekend. If you were planning to come in and see the market on fire, not exactly what we have going on right now. You know, we've had this 2-year bull market, but Morgan Stanley and some others are now catching up to what BigBeat's been saying for a long time. We're getting towards disruption hysteria. It's like a high-end restaurant that's been riding a single trend. Everyone's happy until they run out of the main course. So we'll see what happens here. Right now, we do see tech is again the laggard, although nice little pop-up here in the last couple of minutes. But you can see down about 82 basis points, was down more than a full percentage point here just a few seconds ago. We see the S&P down about 40 basis points this morning, back at 68.23. So after breaking above 7,000, you can see the retracement we've seen here. And then lastly, Dow Jones back below 50,000 and at 49,470 today, down about 20 basis points. What has been moving to the upside so far is the volatility index. The VIX has climbed up, got as high as 2271. Now back down a little bit below, but still rather elevated. Again, we consider 18 to basically be neutral, so 22 rather elevated. That would be, so far we see risk off in general, especially when it comes to tech. When we look at the VIX, it's leading us to believe risk off. But what is giving some wings to the market this morning are treasury rates that have fallen down to lows we haven't seen since November. The 10-year has ticked down to 4.025, and the 30-year is below 4.7. So we do see a little bit of breathing room that might come to the markets based upon that. We also see the dollar back above the 97 handle and back above what Mr. Flanagan has sort of as its lower end. Anything in between 97.29, 99 or so is a fairly neutral area for us right now. I mentioned also earlier, gold and silver both still under pressure here. Gold back challenging the 4,900 level, not the $5,000 level when we last were here. And silver is back below 75, down about 4% in the last 24 hours and towards the lower end of that range. A lot of that being attributed, or part of that being attributed to the Lunar New Year in China, as a big portion of those buyers are not in the market currently. So that does have those prices down. It also has the miners in those industries under pressure also. While WTI and Brent are posting as negative here, you can see they've been on a 3 or 4 day move to the upside, you know, and anything above $60 is good for gas and oil. And as we go through the different sectors of the S&P, you'll see that that is one of the sectors, at least it was one of the sectors earlier that was leading the way. Bitcoin back below 68,000 and remains under pressure here over the last 24 to 48 hours. Same thing, Ethereum, while moving up nicely here on a little bit of a short squeeze the last few hours on the perps, or the last hour on the perps. In general, negative across the board. Indices, the Japan, they are slightly down now. They have oscillated between positive and negative. And Hong Kong markets are up about a 0.5 percentage point. And again, we do see that European stock market has briefly gone into the red here. So mixed around the board in general. I mentioned the sectors of the S&P, and it's come down from earlier highs, but XLE, which is the energy sector, seems to be the main winner so far today, up about 88 basis points. Utilities up 45 basis points, and we do see financials and real estate are in the green. Looking at the red, we do see biggest laggard has now moved from technology to materials, but materials and technology definitely under the most stress so far today. If we start to take a look at general sector or single tickers here, winners this morning. eToro up about 11.43%. They go into earnings tomorrow. Have seen some of the solar names today are getting some love. ENLT, Enlight Renewable, up about 8.83%. We'll talk more later, but Norwegian Cruise Line, NCLH, up about 5.58%, as we have seen the Elliott Management get involved there, the activist involved there. Paramount is up about 3.78. And again, in the news has been the fact that Netflix has sort of come out and said it's time, to get off, either or get off the toilet, so to speak. Warner Brothers Discovery said it would restart deal talks with the company, setting the stage for the bidding war with Netflix. Warner Brothers said a Paramount representative indicated the company was willing to increase its offer to $31 a share following the receipt of Paramount's last amended offer, which was its best and final proposal. So it does have both Warner Brothers up about 2.9%. Netflix is up about 7 basis points. I mentioned Norwegian up about 7 and change here this morning after activist Elliott Investment built a stake of more than 10%. So we'll also take a look. I haven't seen so far, is RCL or CCL moving up, or is this just a single ticker name moving? Yeah, it's only moving, which makes sense, only moving NCLH. So only Norwegian moving there. Other things I saw that were moving also today, AVAV had an upgrade from the analysts, has them up about 3.74% so far this morning. Also, a couple of the mining names popped back in. Albemarle, which had a pretty rough go of it on Thursday and Friday last week. Nice little bounce back here today. We also, in merger news, DHR, right? In medical news, Danaher Corporation looking to take over, close to buying Massimo, another company I'm not really that familiar with, but a valuation of around $9.9 billion. So a big deal here. So has their stock down on merger and acquisition news. Fellow device maker Medtronic, another one out there, MDT. Whoops. Was also down about 5% in the last two trading sessions, as the company posted their third quarter earnings, but they reiterated a soft fiscal year outlook. They talked a decent amount about tariffs. So even with the EPS and top line revenue beats, has them down, like I said, about a little more than 5%. Another one in the news today in the shipping sector, we do see a ZIM, Zulu India Mike, up about 35% here so far on news that it will be acquired by Hapag Lloyd for about $4.8 billion or $35 a share, a 58% premium to where they closed on Friday. It's expected to close over the next several months. And the U.S. listed shares of that company that's purchasing them, HLAG, was up a little bit, almost 3% on that news. So decent news there. Other things in the news so far today. Infosys Limited up about 1.87 after the Indian IT company announced a collaboration to develop custom AI agents with Anthropic. So India is hosting an AI summit this week with a lot of the CEOs. I know that Google CEO Sam Altman from OpenAI and others are expected to attend and speak. Let's take a look at the mega caps and see what's going on there, because it's been fairly negative still. We see right now Google down about 1.72%, biggest laggard so far. Not really any news there pushing that, just again, the AI narrative playing to the downside. We also see Nvidia down a little over 1%. They do go into earnings next week, not this week, but next Wednesday they will report. So we'll see how they start to move into there. Apple, which has had one of its worst two-day slides that we've seen in recent memory, down at 255.61 here. They are, again, looking to see if they can rebound after a rough week. Microsoft down about a 0.5 percentage point here going into the open, although that is moving more to the upside. Question is, can Amazon stop this multi-day downtrend that we've seen? You know, this was trading as high as $246 on February 3rd, now sitting at 198. And Meta also under pressure again today. Again, since its earnings back on January 28th, when it shot up to 742, pulled back all the way to about 617 here. So it's been a rough go of it for the Mag 7, and we know that weighs on the different indices. We do see Netflix up about 73 basis points. Again, a lot of the news there is, or a lot of what has it up there is based upon the Warner Brothers Discovery maybe coming to an end or a solution here in the next several days. We'll see if that is the case. Other ones moving here so far today, DTE, Delta Tango Echo, which is the energy company, up almost 6% in the last two trading sessions. You can see this sucker has had a heck of a run over the last several days. They had earnings this week or this morning. Their adjusted earnings of $1.65 a share went well past the Fact Street estimates of $1.52, and their profit climbed to $1.5 billion in the quarter, up about from $1.4 billion same period last year. The bigger news has been that they also reached an agreement to power Oracle's data center in Michigan, so that has that moving up pretty nicely so far. I mentioned that some of the miners are under pressure here today. We see Newmont down about 3.7. Some of the other names are down also. That's as gold sell-off weighed on shares of the metal miners. The most actively traded bullion contract fell about 1.8% on Tuesday, dragged down a little bit by the stronger dollar, the easing geopolitical tensions, and the start of the Lunar New Year holiday. Another one moving to the upside on some activist talk. So first one was Norwegian, in staying in the travel and leisure section, although more on the tech side of it. You have TripAdvisor, TRIP, up about 5% after Starboard has announced a 9% stake in the online travel company, and they are looking to push some radical overhauls of its board of directors. Um, the Starboard has lost patience, it said, since investing in the company in the summer of 2025. The original investment prompted a boost in its shares, but the stock has nearly halved in the past 6 months amid poorly received earnings and concern over AI diverting traffic from its website. Starboard has said in a public presentation that TripAdvisor should explore a sale of the Fork, a marketplace for restaurant listings and reservations, or potentially sell itself. So it's got a market cap of about 1.1 billion. They don't want to break it up, obviously, or get sold. So we'll see what happens here over the coming months. But it is moving up on that news, so at least that is good for the stock. We are about 10 minutes from the top of the hour. Another one that was moving up today was Fiserv. Up about 3.32%. This was on news that Jana Partners has built a stake in the financial technology provider, although you can see it had gotten as high as almost $64 before pulling back here. So the news, while well taken, it is have it still underperforming the rest of the market a little bit here. So we'll see what else comes up from it so far. Trying to think of what the other laggers or anything were here today. Again, a lot of mining companies were down so far today. A lot of crypto adjacent names, data center names are getting hit today too. Mining names like SSRM, NEM on the way down, CRH, all those moving down. We also see some technology names. General Mills down about 3.39% here. Crypto names, MicroStrategy down. I mentioned CoreWeave down. Some defense names are down. Leidos, who had an earnings beat here this morning. Top line revenue came in a little weaker than expected, but they did have an EPS beat. They are down again here almost 2.5%, erasing all of the gains they got going into earnings. So a little weak for Leidos right now. I do see that they have Goolsby here talking on CNBC this morning. Give me 1 second here. Going to take a quick 1 minute break here to have a quick drink.
You want an investment edge, but all you hear is noise, hype, and half-truths. Every signal is solid information, but only if you can see the bigger picture. This is where the Quasar magic happens. Weather, charts, news, all financial signals funneled into a single dashboard. Data alone isn't enough. Quasar Markets turns it into energy, sharp, clear, precise. Optimize with Quasar Markets today. Your edge when investing.
Sorry about that. I had a little cough I had to do today there. So what else is big today that we're looking at? Not a ton of data on Wednesday. We will get the FOMC notes. We have PCE data that does come up on Friday, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. For me, it's about where is the VIX today. It is coming down nicely as there is talk that Iran and the U.S. in negotiations here. So hopefully we'll continue to get decent news out of that. Otherwise, markets pretty subdued so far, as I've mentioned. NASDAQ down about 80 basis points, S&P down about 40 basis points, and the Dow down about 20 basis points coming into our Tuesday morning trading session. When we look at commodities, gold back challenging, as I mentioned, also back down towards that 4,900 level. Silver back below 75. Bitcoin below 68 earlier, now trying to regain that level. Ethereum at 1996. So we are seeing a little bit of a bounce back up here this morning by crypto, but we'll see if that can hold it into the cash open. And on the Mag 7, Apple has gone into the green, Amazon into the green, Meta into the green. So we've got a few things that are starting to move back up. Netflix having a good start to its day, up about 1.13% so far. So we do have some things starting to move more to the upside. Seeing if any other major names are really moving here. Not really. Citigroup up about 1.7%. That seems to be a new move I didn't notice earlier. Yeah, that's popping off right now. So not exactly sure there, but Citigroup getting a nice little move to the upside here. Now we are seeing Carnival move up, maybe in sympathy play. So maybe CCL, RCL are names to start to take a look at after the Norwegian cruise news. Not a ton else moving out of the, show me anything from a sector there. Chips still seem to be a little bit under pressure too here. We'll see if they can turn around. Yeah, almost everything. Analog devices, the only chip manufacturer in the green today. So again, chips definitely under pressure here today. Broadband down about 1.76%. TSM down about 1.6%. ASML down more than a percentage point. AMD down almost 2 percentage points here. Micron down 2%. Intel down 2.5%. So the entire computer chip sector, semis and components, all under some definite pressure today. Trying to see if anything else was popping off in the different sectors. Not really. We do see Iran partially close the Straits of Hormuz today as security precautions going. So we'll see what that gets us. Anything going on there, but those talks will be a big driver of what happens in the markets today. Will definitely be what comes out of the talks between the U.S. and Iran. Not a ton so far hitting that. So oil prices are declining going into what we're here. So far, that's good news. Keep an eye on. We see IGV down another 81 basis points. It did have a temporary, move to the upside last week, but it is challenging to break to new lows. So again, the software sector seems to still be a laggard on the markets here this morning. And VIX has climbed back up towards that 22 level here. So we're starting to see a little bit of more volatility creep into the market also, as prices hit a little bit more stress. Crypto Bitcoin trying to hold above 68K here, made a quick move to the upside, but now hitting some resistance here. So we are seeing choppiness across the markets in general. Crypto adjacent names are all under pressure so far in the red. Chip sector all in the red. Software sector down. So we can see tech is definitely catching, some headwinds in front of us here. The Mag 7 has started to turn slightly, so maybe that can give us a little bit of tailwinds. We do see some of the Chinese names moving up here. Baidu up about 76 basis points this morning. Alibaba up 0.25 percentage point. So those names have a little bit of strength so far. Not really seeing any other sectors that are really outperforming. I will say retail sector has a little bit more strength than you maybe would expect. I saw Dollar Tree was up. Kohl's is up slightly here today. So we do see a little bit of strength there. That really is about it. I don't see a whole bunch moving up. Memories, we see Seagate up about 42 basis points. Let's take a look and see, does that have SanDisk and the others moving up also? It does not. So that seems to be Seagate specific. What about Western Digital? So that is a Seagate specific move to the upside there. Tesla under some pressure here, down another 1.25%, back down at 412. So it looks like it wants to move back towards that 400 level here today. We'll see what we get there. Wells Fargo financials might be getting a little bit of a move to the upside here. Let me grab that list. We do see JP Morgan up about 28 basis points, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, all in the green here this morning. Goldman Sachs still slightly down. I will say more coverage of their counsel stepping down in the wake of the Epstein files. Definitely hit the news. In fact, we see that across a bunch of different companies. That was definitely in the news. Epstein files continue to hurt corporate boards across the country. So financials, one of the areas up here this morning. It seems to be about the biggest sector, and then it's energy. So energy is moving up. Utilities are moving up. A little bit of financials, a little bit of real estate. The rest of the markets are in the, or the rest of the sectors are in the red. I do see my main man, BigBeat, is going to join us here in 1 second. Let's throw on the intro and get him in here.
When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, BigBeat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
BigBeat, how was your weekend, my friend?
Good, Howard. How are you, man? Looks like things are going quite well. And look, President's Day came around, so it looks like people got a little extra time. Good morning, Zora. How are you? And look, very simple to me. Seems like the markets are waiting and preparing for war with Iran. It looks like they broke down again once again, and Ayatollah Khomeini, the new one now, says that we will destroy whatever ships in the Strait of Hormuz. That's not talk of like, let's get together. I understand that's the side of strategic talk from the religious side, shall we say? The Shia and the Shiites are not communicating correctly over there. So that means that war is pretty much inevitable. I think we're at this point now. I don't. You can't send and don't take us the wrong way, anybody, but you can't send two Jewish people into Iran and expecting with Muslims to bow down. So I don't see that happening right now. It's getting worse. We've sent two ships into the Strait of Hormuz, and oil does not flow to us or to them without proper Strait of Hormuz. As you know, I'm friends and with the former captain, admiral of the boat that got hit last time. So the U.S. coal. So I can tell you it ain't stopping. They'll do it again, and this could get really bad. Of which I think that's why you're seeing the U.S. dollar just popping so much. 97 now, 97.37 here. Yeah. So prepare for that. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Rates are down. Volatility is up so far today. Tech sell-off continues to get exasperated, Steve. Software continues to be under stress. Chips under stress. What energy seems to be the only sector moving up today.
Howard, I can't hear you if you're
there, Steve. You there?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep. I said energy seems to be the only sector moving to the upside. Tech's under stress. Chips are under stress. AI is under stress. Crypto under stress. Gold and silver under stress. Also, a big part of that, right, would be the Chinese lunar holiday, New Year there that weighs on that. U.S. also said they're going to send more missiles to Taiwan. Steve, were you surprised by that?
Crazy. The world's getting a little bit. Not at all. It's getting crazier and crazier as we speak, and it's getting interesting to me. I will tell you, there is a stock that I am buying, and I've already have an order in. I've already bought, actually, IBM. IBM has been beaten up over the last few days, and I say weeks, and I'm not really sure why they're getting beat up, because of what? AI. I mean, they're the leaders of AI. Most people don't know that. They're the reason why we even have AI, pretty much. Sorry. I can see people can say, oh, well, it's open AI, it's this, it's that. But Watson and Watson X was way ahead of the game before that. So I really do like IBM, and I like this selling here. So when the narrative gets strung out a little bit, right, which is, oh, well, the whole world's been taken over by AI. It's not, right? It's not yet. Will it come for your job? Yes, it's definitely coming for your job. So be prepared for it. One of the things that I saw over the weekend was computer science classes. There are very, very few people now and very few computer science classes. And if you're getting a degree in computer science, you're pretty much screwed because there's no need for it right now. Many companies are just, even development companies, the number of people that are unemployed now because they're a developer, quote, developer. I mean, it comes across my desk all day, every day, the needing a job. So, those developers didn't switch over to being what they needed to do, which was to be more of an architect than an understanding. Just because you have an idea and you're going to put it into Claude or whatever is not going to make you a developer or an architect. There's more to architecture of software than just, oh, let's throw some stuff together and hope it works out, right? I've seen this so many times now on these ads. Oh, Goldman Sachs, I've got all the quote prompts, put Goldman Sachs out of business. No, you don't. And I've tried them and they're crap. But they're trying to get them better and better. Why? To get people to use them so that they'll make their software better, not for you to get better, right? And that's the difference. So I'm not worried about this AI narrative. The narrative will change back to these companies because those are the companies building the AI. So IBM being the hardware producer, you still got to have hardware no matter what happens, folks. No matter what goes on, you still need hardware. So IBM is one of those, and that's who I bought this morning, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you're watching here, Steve, so far today, or going to be watching?
God rest his soul, Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away. Older fellow. I know Jesse's son very well, Jesse Jr. I've known the family a long time, Illinois people, and God bless them. I will say that good or bad, he did try to move that needle, and good for them. I will say that the one thing I think that I am watching today, and that is the space race. Space is becoming quite the issue right now. Artemis 2 is becoming quite a big deal now. And so for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, let's see if I can't pull up something here. Let's see, Artemis 2. Yeah. I believe the moon rockets fueling problems are still an issue, but they should be getting that done, I think, done fairly soon. So this delay has happened once again. Oh, did I miss you? I lost Howard there. And I'm going to try to pull that up here, but can't. There we go. I think I lost Howard for a second there. Artemis 2 there, as you can see, this is what is going to be the big question mark around it. So they have postponed it again, and should be today at 6:40 tonight. So launch controllers will arrive. The simulated launch time is 8:30, so it's a 4-hour window for the test. So let's see how that goes today, and that's why this is a big deal. We're landing people on the moon again. And yes, sorry for those of you crazy people who think we didn't land on the moon. We landed on the moon, and that's what's happening. So I think that's a very important to see that, and to me, that's a big deal. So, yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm having some technical difficulties here. My internet keeps going in and out, so if I fade off there, I apologize. We do have Palo Alto after earnings today. Steve, are you expecting anything there? Any fireworks one way or the other?
Not really. It's interesting. I just did a podcast yesterday, and one of the questions I was being asked was about chipsets. Are chipsets, is there really a problem? And I said, there is a little one, but not much of one. I'm not too concerned about this chipset crunch as we keep hearing about, right? I'm not concerned about lithium being a crunch. Oh, all of a sudden they found, look under this bed, we found more lithium. Yes, I understand it's found under a volcano, and yes, the pulling that out. But we do have enough of those, right? So I'm not too worried about the crunch. The question that NVIDIA and AMD is working on is what they're doing with that crunch, right? Are we going to put those chipsets into retail, or are we going to put those into servers? And our machines as they are today are strong enough, right? What's not strong enough is the servers in the back end, the cloud. They really need to be pumped up, because that's how we're going to be serving up data, and that's a big question. So yeah, I do like that idea.
Okay, awesome. Otherwise, this week we have DoorDash and Figma on Wednesday, Walmart, Wayfair, and Etsy on Thursday. PCE's coming out Friday. Steve, is that what everyone's going to be waiting for this week? We got Fed notes on Wednesday. Any of those things catching your eye so far?
Okay, two things. I like the first thing I'm looking at. Goolsby this morning on CNBC said that he actually likes Warsh. He likes Kevin Warsh. He spent lots of time working with him, and he likes him. So that is a good thing. Okay. I like that. And that means that maybe Goolsby will change his mind on inflation, and changing his mind on inflation means he changes his vote to yes, let's cut. So that itself has changed. I need to see PCE coming in like everybody else. PCE needs to come in a little lighter. But my gosh, how much more do we have to see for inflation to be pulled back? Then it's so it is.
Okay, Steve, the other big thing on AI is tech moguls are descending on India as we speak. So we can expect to hear, are you watching any of the smaller data centers for some, news there? I think that's the ones that will spike the most. We saw that today. One of the biggest movers in the pre-market so far today is, where the heck did it go? Now I lost it.
Yeah, data centers are very interesting. When you look at the data centers, the question mark I'm going to have is around Figma. I don't think Figma is going to do very well. I mean, Figma in and of itself, it's there's no need for it anymore. As AI comes around, Figma is just one of those things that could be an issue, right? So I'm not too concerned about that on the chipset side, the AI side, but when it comes down to the building of software, it's pretty much what your ideas are. Put it into ChatGPT, kaboom, there you go. But it's more than that, right? So Figma is kind of it's going to be the fallout that's going to happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. Steve, what about some merger and acquisition news? So we're back with, another day, another Warner Brothers Discovery, start off there. So, that's continuing to go on. Danaher is slumping after multiple reports that the manufacturer of medical devices is close to buying Masimo for about $9.9 billion. So merger and acquisition in biotech back in the news.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And you talk about Warner Brothers first. We'll start with that one. the Warner Brothers expects Paramount to come in with between $31 and $32 bid. That should push Warner Brothers up. But is that what's best for Warner Brothers? We talked about that yesterday on the podcast, and I don't think it is. Look, the question mark is how is Harry Potter and Transformers and all the things that can create. You saw where Marvel and Disney come together and going to make a crossover. Star Wars and Superman going to make okay. That's a whole different ball of wax. All right, I like that. So I think it's pretty cool.
And then, Steve, also we have ZIM looking to get bought out here by Hapag-Lloyd for about $4.2 billion. The Israeli shipping giant getting acquired by its German rival. Is that good for the industry?
Hapag-Lloyd is a huge shipping company with a huge boxes, and they're all over the world. And the shipping industry is going to start to consolidate. So I'm pretty excited about the consolidation in the shipping industry, making them bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, the problem now is, will that make the costs of shipping go up? And yeah, probably it will. But they're huge. Maersk is another one that's they're absolutely huge. And it's whether or not can't get every ship to the Panama Canal. So that we all know that, right? So the Supermaxes, the ship itself, sizes. Maybe one day I'll go through that, explain all of that. But those are a big deal to me. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we did see that too. Infosys INFI was also up after the Indian IT company announced, like I said, a collaboration with Anthropic. So big news there. Steve, we've got a special guest coming to join us today. You want to introduce him as I bring him in?
Yeah. I am super excited about this one. Athanos, O, and I are the ones who actually started.
Hi, how are you?
Live. Good morning, O.
Good morning.
So we will start the process where Howard will bring us in from 8:30 until 9:15, and O and I will take over the show. Like the good old days at Benzinga, and where we created Benzinga Live, and for the show that you guys watch now. So I'm super excited about this. And how are you, man?
Staying busy. So just working, and I had a great weekend. But looking at some of the stuff going on right now, there's like a lot of stuff on the news everywhere. So what are some of the things that you want to start it off with?
Look, let's go back to the old way of doing things. And for those of you who go ahead and ask any question about himself. Tell us a little bit about yourself as we start the new process with the new show.
So, like BigBeat said, I was working with him back at Benzinga many years ago now. I mean, I might look young, but I am almost 30 years old soon. So before you know it, I went to that route. Then I pursued my financial. I was a news desk analyst, and then I pursued financial opportunities through getting my Series 6 and 63. And right now I run an insurance agency based out of Michigan called Titanium Shield Insurance. So we focus primarily on PNC and other aspects of insurance, but that is the main component of what I'm focused on these days. And overall, I've just been killing it. So just been running around, talking to clients and getting all that good stuff. So when you run a business, there's so much that goes into it, because you're not just an agent. You're not just the one part. You have to worry about every little detail, because the buck stops with you.
Yeah, that's true. And what's interesting is when I first met you, you were just starting out, and we put this thing together, and of course turned into what it is today. Look, we're doing the same thing here, but bigger and better and cleaner. And one of the things I like is that we are a no nonsense company here, and the fact that bringing news to you and what's really going on, and I love that. And and I did that. Look, there's always going to be bias no matter what show that you watch. But one of the things that we prided ourselves on was really bringing the news and what changed the course of the trading day. So I'm looking forward to that. O will come to me with like kind of like what Howard does today, getting us started, what's going on in the news and vice versa. O now with 10 years under his belt now has and licenses, which is important to us. We'll make sure that everybody understands that too as well. That we will be starting to bring charts and the news to you, and he'll be here with me until 10 o'clock every morning Eastern time, and then he will get off to all of his insurance and his company. So I'm super excited about that, and we're gonna have a really good run here as we build this out to Quasar Markets Live. So let's get to it. Bring them to me. What you got on the docket here? I know you were Mr. News.
Well, see, the thing is, that's why I said today I'm getting back into it. That's why I wanted you kind of lead, because I haven't been in the show in a long time, and I'm a little bit nervous, not gonna lie. But,
don't be nervous, man. You're on the show. You're good to go. All right, let's get to it. I'm gonna pull some charts up, and we'll get right to it.
yes.
If anybody knows how this works, it's definitely you. So give me 1 second. I'll pull up my charts, and we will get started here talking about one of the stocks that I'm definitely looking at, and I'm still in. I'll share my screen now. Is Robinhood here this morning. This morning, I know that took a little bit of a dip, but I am still long Robinhood. As you know, everybody here yesterday, Friday, I took some off as we pushed up yesterday. Sorry, again, Friday. You can see this turn here. I took a lot off here, and I might be putting some back on here. I'm not quite sure yet, but I still have quite a bit on. I'm still long Amazon, AMZN. I know that there's an Amazon now green on the day. So the ones that got beat up the most are the ones that are really kind of pushing now. So I'm going to pull up a 3-minute chart. Why again? Wall Street uses 3-minute charts. Here we go. And then I am now going to pull up the other one, IBM. Those are the three that I have really on my docket today that I'm looking at, and I'm liking this. I bought around 258 this morning. 258 quarter looks like. I'll have to look again, but these are the ones that I am definitely interested in. So yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull some of these up myself. It's kind of hard to see on your screen. I know you're sharing it, but
yeah, maybe
small.
I can pull up let's see if I can get up. Hopefully, got lots of screens here. We'll have to redo some of these screens here a little bit, but yeah.
So let's see here. You said you were looking at Robinhood today.
Yeah, Robinhood. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, I had a
interesting
week.
And with Robinhood, I get it that they've lowered the Mizuho now, lowering the price target there on Robinhood from 172 to 135. I mean, look, I get it. With Vlad saying that chat is this biggest deal now, it's kind of an interesting situation there that Robinhood's got to keep up, right? The AI is a big deal, so we need to make sure that that's. I mean, do you use Robinhood?
I do. It's just for convenience, because it's easier to see, when you got to do some price check, or when you have some stuff. I actually have one of the stuff that they're giving with like the bank account. They're actually doing a pretty good job with that. I was one of the first people, and I was able to get access. But, sometimes even with this, when you have an analyst, and I remember this back in the old days, they would, give a price target and a rating, which would cause the stock market to, move a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's just the sentiment. It's what people are seeing right here. And, that going from lowering their price target that much, I mean, yeah, that could be seen, but it's already, it's at, $75 right now. So even lowering it to 135 is still a long ways to go, which, I mean, that would still be a significant increase. But yeah, there's a lot going on right here, right now with this. And I'm Cantor Fitzgerald also I'm seeing here about from Tip Ranks. an hour ago also lowered it from 130 to 100. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen that. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
I
that
don't think
also
that scares me though. Does it scare you?
no, 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 no. It doesn't scare me at all. That's why, like I said, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, they could be wrong, and sometimes they are, but at the end of the day, they're still. I think Robinhood is here to stay.
Yeah, I got you. Me too. I agree with that. I do think they need to keep up with the technology, and AI is important. And I think that Robinhood has failed on that side. But that's like saying Apple has failed, with AI because with Apple Intelligence. But, you see all these companies with AI, and what are we doing here? I mean, for you, do you feel like that AI is taking over the world?
I I don't want to sound like I'm scaring people by saying that taking off over the world, but there also has to be a stage where you integrate AI into your business. Otherwise, you're going to become obsolete.
Yeah.
So it's not. I think it's definitely mandatory that you somewhat learn how to use AI, and there's so many different AI chatbots and all these different things out there right now. You just have to navigate on how to position the prompting, because that is very important. That's one of the things that I think is going to get created from this is AI prompting and how you use the AI to better what you're doing. It
Yeah.
shouldn't
Agreed.
supplement completely, but it should improve what you're doing. And I think those are the people who are going to benefit the most using AI, not the ones just relying completely on it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people this week over the weekend. I was reading about computer science degrees. The number of people, kids that are getting degrees in computer science is down to, it's like cutting by a third already. 2 months ago, another third this month. That's 2/3 of computer science degrees that are not signing up for computers. I mean, it could just go away, and probably by next year.
Right. Let me give you a prime example. There's Google's one of the AI things that they have is anti-gravity, which creates you give it a prompt and it can create a website fully code, and that's where it basically makes coding obsolete. You
Yeah.
tell it what you want and it builds you the website, it builds you all this stuff, and that's the stuff that it's learning how to be better at that rather than just fully doing coding yourself. Or that's just one example, but in this aspect with quasar markets, how have you seen AI really implement and putting all the data in one place?
Right. Correct. Yeah. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Is that when we look at data in itself, it's not just having data. We have that, right? We already have all that in there, and we already have the AI stringing this all the pieces all together. But the architecture of the AI is not saying, "Oh, hey, this is great, but I want to create a technology where it got better and better and better on top of itself, so that it helped you understand you." Not the machine becomes the boss of you. Oh, I need to buy
Right.
IBM because this is the reason. Well, my thesis is that IBM has been beaten up and IBM has the hardware. That's my thesis. Now I'm going to feed that into the machine, and the machine will now tell me, am I right? And is there something that I'm missing?
Right.
So many people think of AI as, okay, I'm going to just have it write me a book. I mean, that's just silly. I wouldn't read a
Right.
book based on that. But I would read an AI book based on someone's AI that may have problems writing, that may have it fills in that the writing prompts for people that maybe have a problem. That makes me more efficient. That makes me a better writer than, maybe I don't put the period in the right place, or I don't know where to put the semicolon in. The AI will help you with that, right? That's what I want, the person to be more efficient, but not the machine to be so efficient that we don't even need the person in the first place.
Right.
That's the difference for me. And I think the companies that are doing that are the companies that will succeed. The companies that are just
Right.
making massive AIs I don't think are the ones going to succeed. I think there's going to be some backlash against the AI in and of itself. That's what I think is going to happen.
And quite frankly, when you read something, you can tell if it's AI or not.
Yeah.
When you read
Yeah,
it,
But what happens in a year or two and it gets really good, right? And it's 5 years from now when you really can't tell if it's AI or a person.
I mean, that's when it's a different story. That's when it's a different, that's when it's a different level to it, because then you're like looking at it, you're reading it, and you think it's a human, but it's an AI. But right now, there's some stuff I've seen that I'm like, yeah, it sounds like an AI, and you kind of feel it. You can read it between the lines, and I don't think it's quite yet to the point where it's not detectable.
Yeah. All right, QQQ, I'm pulling the charts up now. We got just about looks like 2 minutes now to the open, and I'm gonna pull up a 5-second chart, crank her up, and get ready for this. I am, as you know, long on IBM this morning. Looks like Ford Motor Company, CNBC talking about Ford Motor Company, talking about pushing for Ford Chinese EVs. I got IBM on the mind this morning. So here we go. All right, I'm loading up now. I've got IBM ready to go, 257.56. I'll probably buy some more this morning as it goes in. So I'm super excited about IBM here this morning. I will not seeing much yet on the movements yet. I know the markets are a little weak this morning. Dixie now sitting at 97.38. Spot gold now 48.96. Now still dropping. Gold still dropping. Silver still dropping. I have actually taken silver off my front boards, but it's 74.30 now an ounce. As we're now seeing a tick down, minus 143. Advanced decline down minus 435. Oil at 62.75 now a barrel. Here we go. Got about 45 seconds now to the open. 10-year now sitting at 4.046%. So it's still slipping. A lot of people buying the bond, 10-year bonds there. Interesting. We're hearing that the
interesting.
Israeli Defense Fund now has struck a Syrian Palestinian Islamic Jihad militant. We're hearing now that Iran's foreign minister now says explicit reference to the possible use of force by the United States must be brought to an immediate and unconditional end. All right, 20 seconds down to the open here now. Are you worried about Iran in the fight here?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I feel like there are a lot of talk in most instances. I mean, of course, they might always do something. You never know. But I tend to look at the history of things, and
we are open now. We are pushing to the upside a little bit. Yeah, no, I agree with you on the Iran thing. Yeah. All right. Looks like a little bit of a push to the upside has been met with some selling here on the 5-second charts here. Nothing crazy yet. I'm looking at IBM.
How's the volume looking? It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, the volume's kind of weak right now. It looks like I'm not
2%
futures now, only down 15 here. So I'm not really. I think they're waiting on some news. I think what they're waiting on, to me, still seems to be they're waiting on next week, right? They're waiting, or this week, they're waiting on the inflation numbers.
Right. See, what is your opinion right now with all this other stuff going on? Because we were talking a little bit about Iran, about everything else going on with some of the past tariffs that was announced. Like, I felt like, because that was prime Benzinga days when we were talking about tariffs, and now Trump's back in office, and he's that's his golden words, and tariff. So how have you seen the markets react in the last?
I mean, tariffs have never worked in the history of any country anywhere in the world, right? And it's free trade has to happen in order for a country to flourish, right? And so I don't agree with it. I never have. I've never liked tariffs. I don't like them. They don't work. Several economists have talked about it over decades and decades and decades in history, and still nothing, right? So I'm not a big fan. Tick now. Oh, Tick just took off to the upside there. Amazon and Hood both now positive on the day. Tick up 313 here, and 260 now on IBM. Those of you who are paying attention and buying and listening at home.
I mean, it's good. Okay volume. Amazon, I'm looking right now, it's right around that 200. It's trying to push, but it's kind of struggling around there a little bit.
Yeah, we gotta go that 200 here, for sure.
Yeah, I think it could do it today though, because the way it's I mean, it bounced back kind of strong here, but we'll see. This is let's see here. I have
kind of quiet this morning though. Not really much going on.
Right.
Hood down only down a half a point here. IBM 260.25 here. Tick now down 185. A lot of bouncing around the Qs. In that linear middle of that linear regression there on the 1 minute chart. It's probably what's happening right now. Twice now bounced in that 216.47 now into IBM. Looks like Amazon now up almost a buck here. 260.67 now. Massimo Corporation, MASI, at 34% now. Obviously, I like Massimo. If you don't know what Massimo does, you're not a boater, right? They've got a huge. They do a lot of things, but I can pull that up, and you also should be. There we go. Share screen, and we'll pull up Massimo. There you go. Monitoring. There you go. There's the products, and they've got a list of products, by the way. They've got wearables and handhelds and bedsides, and they are in all kinds of things and sensors, and in remote monitoring and integrated systems and sensors and telehealth. Telehealth is the future, right? I think.
Right. Now, talking about telehealth, and this is something that I've seen firsthand with some older patients. They don't know how to use technology and they're having a hard time with it. Now, in terms of the younger, population, if they would rather just do that rather than going to the doctor, I mean, I could see that, but I just have to, I'm trying to understand because I've been dealing with some stuff that with some of the older people in my life and they have to do this, and that was an option provided and they kind of laughed it off like, I don't know how to do this. I just know I got to come in. So I think that's going to be it's going to really take off with the next generation. I mean, it's starting to show potential, but it's not fully peaked yet. That's just how I see the things with telehealth and things with online doctors and being able to give you a prescription or give you a diagnosis by seeing that. What is
all right? Amazon now pushing a little bit here on the side here. I'm liking this here. Amazon now up a buck now. 200 handle seems to be kind of tough on Amazon for some reason. I don't know why people selling at 200 for some reason. Doesn't make any sense there. See if we can break above that 230 handle there, and I think that we will really break to the upside here.
Yeah, there's definitely a fight going on right there. I mean, it's going back and forth.
I didn't wear my Mardi Gras beads today. Oh, there you go, 230. Yep, there we go. Break above that, and we go. Let's see it go. Should have worn my Mardi Gras beads today. Today's Mardi Gras, right? 235 there, 200.35. Let's see if we get above that and maybe really go with Amazon there. As now the Nasdaq only down 26 points and the Dow only up 20. I mean, it's a pretty quiet day here on Wall Street. Yeah. But I think it's gonna be very positive. There you go. Q's just took off to the upside. There we go. 601.34 now. And tick down 142. Advanced decline only minus 533, so it's not a bearish or a bullish day. It's pretty quiet.
Right. I mean, it's pretty flat, and I'm looking more a little bit on Amazon. It's just struggling, in my opinion. It goes back and forth, and it just I don't see the momentum yet to just push through that, but it's trying.
Yeah, and I mean the overall market's quiet today, so I do like that. Got any thoughts
Right.
here on Bitcoin here now at 68,000 handle? It seems to be struggling at 68,000. 70,000 seems to be where everybody wants to sell it, right?
Right. I mean, the big swings I feel has scared a lot of people
Yeah.
because you're at 100,000 one minute, then you're at 60, and that's a big swing. And it, I personally never really got big into Bitcoin. I mean, I had Ethereum and some other coins, but Bitcoin was just too expensive for me. So, I mean, I was following it a long time, but when I saw, it take off, I was too late. And my philosophy is not to chase, but it just kept going higher. So, I don't know about that. I haven't really,
We can pull Ethereum up right now. Ethereum under 2,000 seems to be where people just can't seem to they take that profit at 2,000. I'm in it right around 2,100. I'm not too concerned about anything going on Ethereum. I mean, Tom Lee's got that sucker wrapped up, and it's building a base, and I think that's part of the base building right now. To go back up to 4,000, I'm not too concerned about it. You can see where the buyers are now stepping in. This is the daily chart. This chart's looking good for Ethereum. I know everybody says, "Oh, the crypto space is falling apart." No, it's not. It's really, really not. So, yeah.
well, it always had those ups and downs. Like I believe it was in 2017, it really took a dip and then came back. And then it just does every couple years it will take a little dip, but when it comes back stronger. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, almost always. Yep. But then people don't like to sell. They don't like to buy. They don't like to sell on the top and don't like to buy at the bottom. Tell us about. I mean, your age group can't even hold anything more than 5 minutes anymore.
Yeah, I mean it goes to tell you a little bit about the patience of people, and that's the really scary part about that I see with crypto is like, since it's overnight, it's always going, you never know the sentiment of people. And that's a good way to gauge it, is based on what's going on there, because it's 24/7 and it adjusts to everything going on. If something happens that might, affect it, all of a sudden you're aware just by looking at the price. Everybody's talking about it. Hey, so this stock or this Bitcoin, for example, went down or it went up. What's going on? This. It's a good way to monitor the whole and see, kind of gauge what's going on. But it's kind of scary for me because I never really have.
I like that.
Yeah.
Zora said she grabbed her first 6 points on ES futures. Zora, which way did you go? Up or down? I like that. Congrats. I love it. You are hitting singles every single day, and that's what makes a good trader, not when you try to hit home runs all the time. I love that. All right, 9:40, about 20 minutes down the top of the hour here. Now, it just seems that the market just seems to be very, very quiet here. Are you watching the Olympics at all?
Yeah, I got some sports. In fact, we had one of the figure skaters was from my church here in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Greek Orthodox. So it was interesting to see, everybody in the Greek community here was rooting for that. She was representing the United States, but it was still, nice. Yeah, looking at Amazon, it dropped below 200 and kind of doesn't have the fuel to go back up. But we'll
Southwest Airlines here, LUV now up. It's popping a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the cattle car, but now you can pick your own seat on Southwest, and I like that better than the way that they used to have it done. But okay, Hood now down to almost $1 now, and Amazon now went but negative here on the day. Ouch. All right,
Yeah.
well, but the Nasdaq nothing's moved here. It just seems like this is where it's at. So I'm not too worried about anything here. I'm staying long here, and I'm not too concerned. Nvidia barely up now. Unity Software up 1.7% here. Yeah, they're just testing both sides here. It's just too quiet, to be honest with you.
Right.
Spot gold still dropping here, 48.82. Tells me that the machines are in charge 67,300 now on Bitcoin, dropping $1,000 here almost in quick. So sellers are stepping in a little bit. It just can't seem to hold steady here. Oh,
Let's see, Bitcoin.
And Amazon
Yeah,
about to go positive again. There it goes again, positive. So yeah. Oh, Paramount Skydance has now raised 9%. Negotiations are now reopened with Warner Brothers. They are now. Wow, that's interesting.
Let's see.
So you guys can see that. And of course, Amazon now going red once again. It's not a weekday. It's not a strong day. It's minus 760 on the advanced decline, but tick is now still minus 174. So nothing is saying either way. We are seeing the Qs pulling back just a wee bit, the 600 handle, but I mean, I'm just not seeing it here. I think they're just waiting on these numbers coming out for inflation.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I said I think most people are a little wary of what's going on right now with that, because if they go all in, or if they pull out, it could skyrocket or tank. And sometimes being cautious is a little better in terms of getting that. But let's see. I'm looking a little bit at.
Look at that selling there that just happened.
Yeah,
that's algorithmic selling too, because you can see the volume just isn't there for the sellers, right? So to me, that's algo selling. That's not people selling. Yeah, you can see where the buyers and sellers are matching up. So this is not where people are coming in and saying, "Oh, I can't wait to sell." It's just nothing going on. There's where the buy signal is right there on Amazon, right there at 197.50. So does it go below that? It looks like it's sneaking behind it. That's where the buyers are, it looks like. And it could turn around and just go right back on up. That's what I'm thinking here. 67,000 flat handle there on Bitcoin now. Underneath 67, fighting it out right there. Amazon now at 197.05 here. It's still slipping here a bit. I'm not too scared. Probably buy more here down here.
Apple's actually positive today, and it's rebounding a little bit from last week.
NASDAQ down 100 points here now, down 0.47%. Still nothing there. Silver now at 72.93. Silver is selling off quite heavily here. Oh, look at that, selling at Amazon.
Yeah.
I might buy some more down here. I like that.
What's it at right now? Let's see here. Wow.
Tick now down 500. It has held out here a little bit. But the 10-year is not saying that's where it's going to, 4.05%. So money isn't flowing there. Yeah. Top of the hour now, about 14 minutes now. There you go. Tick-tock turned around here a little bit. I expect another pop to the upside here. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's see here.
258.25 here now. Now tick now down 70. So the buyers stepped in quite heavily fast here and tested that selling. Yeah, there you go. They're making this move here. Now what's going on here is that they are widening out so that they can have some trading room, and that's what they're seeing. So I like this here on Amazon. I'll pull up IBM as well. Yeah, I think the same thing. You can see where the buyers are. Same thing. I'm still long here. Nothing's changed here. This is why I'm long IBM down in here. It's a 1 hour chart. Let's pull up a 3 hour chart. Same situation. You can see what I meant when I meant they create a trading range. 260 looks like 260.80 all the way down to about 256.51. So they can play around in that range. Now with the 3 hour chart, they did that days. You can see that's what they've done. They've moved,
Right.
Right. They're building a base, and I like this. Building a base is very important when it comes to markets, and I think that's what we're looking at here now. And that's why I am going along. I think the selling is a little overdone on almost all of this, so I like this. You can see right here. Look at that.
QQQ.
Right in the middle. That's a spinner right there, right? That pulled up a major. There we go. We can see a little bit. See that right? That's a spin. Like that. Which means it probably just go right back on up.
What's the price right there? It's kind of hard to see.
597.90. Pull up the side chart there. 598.04. $258 now on IBM there. Bitcoin 66.9 now. Still slipping just a little bit there, but not much. IBM 258 a quarter here. That's the Qs here, 598.36. So need to see a little bit of a pop to the upside, and if we do, we'll start to see the markets pull back up, push back up now. Dow now up 79 points here now. The Nasdaq up 148. So we're pushing right back up here.
Yeah, Bitcoin's trying to test that 67,000, but it's not able to hold it, and it fell below. And
72.60 now on silver now. Continue to sell off here, down 5.27%. Tick down 400 here. Advanced decline minus 1192 now. So I'm okay with this. I like this base building down here. I do like this a lot, and I think the nervousness in the market is overwrought a little bit.
let's see here.
I think we push right back on up. I know it's quiet though, so don't expect much out of this day, to be honest with you. WTI now 62.61 now a barrel. 258.34. There you go. There's that pop that we needed in the Amazon. 598.47. Q's trying to get back above 600 here. Pull up a one minute chart. There's a turn. And sellers sticking back in. Tick down 469 right now. Hearing now reports that Netflix has granted Warner Bros. A 1-week waiver to reopen Paramount Skydance deal talks. All right.
Wow.
Okay, so if that's the case, WBD, look at WBD. Yeah, only up 2.45% now. So I don't expect that to be a big deal here. Netflix knows what's going on here. And Netflix now down again, down 2% here, 75.36. To me, anything under $80 on Netflix is definitely a buy on me. They're talking about silver now down 7% now on the day. Now in gold now down 3.32%.
Wow. Cheesecake Factory is actually up 4.3% today, and
love Cheesecake Factory. There you go. I agree with that. Yeah, come on, don't talk to Cheesecake Factory. I like
it. They're looking, I guess, to see what's going on with their earnings that are coming up on the 18th, and then I'm seeing here. Let's see. Maintain a positive rating. Mutual securities and city and increase target from 70 to 72, but I think that's old.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. I like Cheesecake Factory. I like what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually one of the positives today, and that's kind of interesting because, but if you look at even like going out a little further out in their chart, they've been doing pretty good you know, in the last 3 months, they've really took off 34% in the last 3 months. That's actually pretty. Let's see.
Yeah, I think we're due for a relief bounce here at some point here. I got about 7 minutes to
Right.
the top of the hour.
Tesla is kind of down almost 3% here too, and
You think they're worried about the Chinese EVs here?
you mentioned that about Ford and China. It's, I don't know. This is very interesting because China is a big market, and I know the big three in particular are not gonna let any like Chinese EVs come to the United States. They're adamantly against it, but I don't know. Tesla has its factories here and in China, so it could do. You know, I mean, it doesn't. I think they're positioning themselves the right way, but it's being one of the forefronts of EV vehicles. Because when you think of a EV, that's what you really think about. You don't think of a, you know, Ford or GM or Chinese EV. You think of a Tesla. At least that's how I see it, right? Whenever you say, "Oh, it's an EV," it's Tesla. But they've done well in that marketing aspect, and now it's just a matter of seeing if the overall population wants to gear towards that. I know there was that big push under Biden, and now some of the big three are somewhat pulling back. For example, I know Stellantis, they're bringing back the old Hemi engines and stuff. So, you know, it's supply and demand at the end of the day, and see what they're doing. But Stellantis is.
Are you worried about? I mean, for me, we were in the BMW dealership. We have an X5, we have a hybrid, and they were concerned because the hey Steve, how are you? Good morning. Yeah, thank you, sir, and welcome back. What was interesting to me was when you look at Stellantis, and yesterday we were driving, we saw a Lucid in front of us, and my wife commented how she liked it, like the look of the car. But we were at the BMW dealership, and they're like, yeah, without the little bit of a rebate that you get, that really hurt the EV market. And I kind of agree with that. I think it's hurting the EV market a lot.
Well, it was $7,500 if I'm not mistaken. It was like a tax credit. Yeah. So that right there, I mean, of course it would help, but you know, if you're gonna get an EV, you have to think long term. So, for example, one of my friends had a EV, not the Challenger, the two-door, the Charger, I believe it is. I keep mixing those two up. The two-door, not the four-door.
Yeah, I like that.
And we were going to Lansing from the east side of the state in Michigan, which is in the middle of the state if you look at it as a hand. And we had to stop to recharge so we can make sure we can come back. And I was like, I'm not too sure. I personally have a hybrid, and I think that's the best route, where you still put gas, but you get, gas efficiency. I get about 45 miles a gallon in my Toyota. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. I mean, because I put on a lot of miles.
Yeah.
So, that's what makes sense to me, but I don't think we're fully ready for an entire EV, but that's just my take. And I think the people that want it are going to get it regardless, whether there's a tax credit or not. But it just certainly helps the people who are on edge.
And I agree with you on that. I have an EV as well, but I have a hybrid as well. And when I smile every time I go past the gas station, right? I never have to go. I rarely go there because 90% of our trips are less than 40 miles, and in the hybrid, I know you don't get the 500-600 mile range that you do with the Tesla, but you get like 40-50 mile range. But I also get an SUV, right? And I can go as far as I want to go because I still have the gas.
Right. You got to have it depends on what your commute is and what your lifestyle is, honestly. Because if you have to do long rides, long distances, long trips, it's not practical. But if you're in inner city or, you know, within your area, that's perfect. Especially if you have one of those charging things you plug into your own house. You never have to
Yeah.
go to a charging station. You can just plug it overnight. But I heard that can damage the battery if you just leave it overnight, or does it just shut off with
It
your
shuts
EV?
off for us. Yeah, once it's reached it's we're seeing a pop here now in Amazon, about to go positive here on the day again.
Oh wow, let's see that.
Let's see that's Eli Lilly now up 2.22%, Apple up 1%. Apple holding up the whole market. I've said that all the way along. Apple's new update on their phones, I really like what they've done here. It's really good. It's a really good update.
I I heard a little bit the opposite. Some people that have it around me, they don't quite like some of the updates, especially when you go on the phone, the context, because it moved the buttons is just out of habit. But that's just what I heard from some people. But I mean, Apple is. I think they're going to be there for the long term.
I agree. I do like app. Oh, 198.14. We are about to go positive here. You know, look, I had, you should know, I've had Android almost. You know me a long time. I've had Android, and I called it crapple for many years. But to me, it was. But I think that they've changed their tune a little bit. I think that they're listening to people and they're making things better. They still haven't caught up with the AI side of things, and that bothers me a lot, right? I mean, I think AI is a big part of this, and I don't think they've caught up on AI.
They have to. I mean, think about it. They have so many things going on at once. I think they have to prioritize some things over another, and I think that's just they're gonna get to it. But I don't think that's at the top of their priority right now.
No, I agree with that. I did like their creator studio. I did buy the creator studio monthly that I do because I am a creator as well, as you know here. But I do like that. Yeah. It's pretty quiet. And you can see here on Amazon, you can see where the buyers and sellers are matching, and right there, that's where they are, right? When it went underneath the numbers and above the numbers, but right there it was the midpoint, and it is what it is. This is where we're at, 198.09. I think we'll probably get back to 198.50 somewhere around in there, and I think that's where we stick. Mohammed Al-Arian is going to be coming up on Squawk Box. I'm sure he's going to be saying how bad the world is. So be prepared for that, folks.
Well, you know, I think the best way to look at stocks is to not be overly pessimistic or optimistic. You have to see it for what it is, and it's just numbers at the end of the day, and seeing how it goes, and gauging the sentiment, because then there's news that plays into that, and there's a lot of components, but it's just a matter of navigating those waters. Let's see, what's this? IBM is down 1.7. Let's see here, what else? Let's see here.
$198.28 now, 30, 33, where we at this morning. I like this. Pushing right back up. We could, I mean, and look, the Dow's on 157. So I'm liking this. I think we got some of the better plays here. I see that IBM 258 now, 41 now. So we are back above where I bought it. So I'm okay. home builder sentiment now coming in, the confidence dipping now, and according to the it's saying high costs are also. All right, we're at the top of the hour now, sir, and welcome to the show, and we're looking forward to it. Bring that energy every morning, and we should be make some money here, all right?
All right, thank you for having me, and I look forward to this. And you know, like I said, I was a little nervous this first day. You got to give me some slack, but I
right
will,
back. I love it.
Right. All right. Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll see you right back here. Thanks for watching.